Hey, so we drew these cacti in a lesson about shape language with Kids Cartoon Academy, visual psychology, contrast, simplifying shapes, and then refining those shapes. So a lot of the things we've discussed in this group as well. We sketched it in the Zoom class, and then I inked and colored it afterwards, added a background and other things. So I wanted to talk about composition, specifically balance in composition. We've talked a lot about contrast. Check out replays in the classroom if you've missed some of our live classes. So now I want to balance contrast with balance. Because balance is another design principle that helps your illustrations look better. So first let's point out contrast, right? Large, small, square, circular, big squeak from a little character, little from a big character. And then the contrast, you got the really bright colors with more muted, earthy, really yellow colors. In the camera here, it's looking a little brighter yellow than it actually is, but a duller yellow is nice for this in the background, so it sort of recedes a little bit but complements the picture. You've got some contrast with pink and green as well, especially the super bright pinks, and obviously the character builds and the shapes used there. All those say different things about these characters, right? Strong, safe, nurturing, bulky, because those square blocky shapes don't just show strong, they could also show safe or protective. This looks like maybe a funny older brother or dad or something like that. This is cute, rounded shapes here, not just the overall shape, but the shape of the mouths as well. The shape of the little thorns or spikes on the cacti as well. They differ. Now, let's balance this contrast with the principle of balance in a composition, right? So you always want a good amount of contrast, and you want to balance that with sort of its opposite, which is the principle of balance. And so let me talk about how I was thinking about that as I was continuing to add to this piece. So this pink, I guess it's a cloud behind the main scene, is probably the most important piece here for balance. So I've got the bright pink here. That was just too much. It was the visual, in terms of visual hierarchy of what you look at first, this was just grabbing the attention too much, and there's nothing really that interesting happening up here. It's all here is where the interesting part of this piece is. And so to balance that, I added the pink cloud, bright pink. This is Posca marker, by the way. The rest is Ohuhu alcohol markers. It's this one. I love the Posca markers for like accents and really this opaque color. Now, so I've balanced the pinks, right? And so you have, but it's not symmetrical. So that's that's what you want to try to do, is avoid symmetry usually, but still provide balance, right? So big pink on the right, and then getting small, and then a glob of pink right here with the flower. Now you've also got little bits of pink in here, so it's somewhat balanced. Now with the yellow, I was even thinking about, I had these yellow cacti in the background, and then I had a thin strand of yellow, and then I decided, now let's make this thicker. So we're just on the spot, I don't plan this ahead. And there's certainly better things I could do to this to give it even more balance. In fact, I probably should have brought this yellow down even further so that it balances the yellow with the yellow over here. More balance is there's a little, it's almost like weight. So almost like a physical weight. So big, massive green over here. And then I had this tiny little green. Well, it made more sense and looked better to make then this lettering bigger, so that balances the massive green weight up here with the tiny little lettering. So the green is balanced as well. Let's see, what else is balanced here? Oh, I had this giant pink cloud, and it wasn't until, and I added these dots of white here and here with the Posca marker, and here. The white around here I just left blank because I want to show off the lettering a little bit and provide contrast, right? The like darker lettering on a white background is more contrast in value, dark and light. By the white background, I just mean the white outline around it, but that I just didn't do the. You can watch the video. I'll link the video process here briefly, time lapse, where you can see how I was just coloring in the pink and I just didn't touch it up against the lettering. And that's because that contrast makes it more easily readable, the darker letters against a white background as opposed to dark letters against a darker pink background. But I had all this white here and all this white here, and then it was just a solid massive pink. So I came in with the Posca white marker and dabbed a few dots up here. Probably, it's a very minor detail, right? But it probably looks better if the heavier or the most dots. Whoa, too much! That's why you got to be careful with Posca markers. And that's why Posca markers are awesome, because you can just cover them up again. All right, once that pink dries, I'm going to do another little dab. And there's going to be a small white dot there. And that's because there's a lot of white here, and so balancing, I can put more white dots up here instead of like so close to it, right? Balancing the other side of the scale. All right, so lots of little things here I did in this process as I was working on balance, and that's something, again, avoid symmetry, use contrast, and try to balance your composition. If you can balance those three things in your art, you end up with really cool compositions. It's something I'm still learning, still getting better at, but it's fun to think about and even more fun to implement. All right, hopefully this was helpful for you. Let me know if it was, or your follow-up questions too. Thanks.